Hey, what's up everybody? In today's video, I'm going to show you how I made these two end tables right here. And it was a bit of a headache because I just didn't really have a good plan of how I was going to do them. And I had a couple hiccups along the way, but overall it turned out good. Hope you enjoy. So starting off this project here, I just ripped down some legs out of this piece of oak. And then I planed them down so that they all had a nice surface on each side. And they were all exactly square and the same size as each other. So then I took this wider piece of oak and used this for the tops, and I cut two pieces out of it, but this bit me in the rear end later on. Leave a comment below guessing why, and you'll find out later on in the video if you're right or not. But yeah, so then I cut all these legs down to the same length here on the chop saw, making sure they're all exactly even, so I cut them at the same time. And then after that, I started cutting these little pieces to make the shelves, because I want to do these slotted shelves or slatted shelves. I don't really know what the actual term is, but you will know what I'm talking about. And so these pieces that I'm taping together right here, these are going to be like the side pieces that hold all the other pieces for the shelf. And so I'm notching all those out. And I wasted so much time trying to like use this ruler and measure exactly how much to space them apart, and I probably wasted like, I don't even know, 45 minutes to an hour trying to figure it out, and they kept not lining up. So then I finally was just like, what am I doing? I can just set the pieces on there, space them apart, eyeball it, make it look good, and then just draw lines straight down. So that's what I did right here, and it worked out great. And then I went over to the table saw, started going in on it, you know, just ripped through. Worked out really well. ASMR break. Maybe that wasn't ASMR for you, but I really like that chisel breaking the little wood pieces personally. And I'd assume if you're watching this video, then you do too, since you're into woodworking. Anyways, I took my chisel, got all these nice and flush, made sure that the piece fit, and then it was time to untape them and glue them up. So here's a little time lapse of me gluing all these up. You know, I just pretty much made sure they were square. I didn't really have any way to clamp them, so I just put tape on them, stacked them up, and figured if I just made sure to press them down, and then I set a cutting board on top at the end, you'll see here in a second, which, I mean, it wasn't very much weight, but I think it was enough. It's the next day, and hopefully it's glued up nicely. Oh yeah. So once the shelves were all done, once the shelves were all glued up, hit them all with a chisel to get off the like bigger chunks of glue, and then I hit it with the sandpaper, making sure that I get all the glue off so that I can spray the finish on and it'll actually adhere properly to the wood and soak in. And so yeah, then it was time for me to do this step where I was chiseling out the notches where the shelves were gonna sit inside of the legs, because that was the only way I could think of to attach these shelves cleanly. And so this took quite some time, but I got a pretty good method down with this drill. I would drill out holes throughout the whole thing, and then I'd chisel it out, and it ended up working pretty good. So I spent quite a bit of time doing that and making sure it all fit right, and also making sure that I didn't break any of the legs, because I didn't have any more oak this thick, so I wasn't able to make any more legs if I messed it up. Alright, so I got a few of these cut out already, and I got them all drawn. I got 4 notches cut. This one I didn't like notch, but it's gonna be fine. And then that's for the other end table. I got all those drawn. So now I need 8 9, 10, 11, 12 more. And here is what ate up a lot of time, but I got faster and faster doing it and got better at gauging how well the shelf was going to fit in there, and it wasn't too bad. I am happy that I did it this way because they turned out really nice. So some amount of time later, I got to cutting these pieces where these were going to connect the legs and allow me to attach the tops that I had made and allow me to connect the tops that I made to the frames of the end stands. So then I pocket screwed these and pocket screwed it all together and like assembled it to make sure that it was all gonna fit together how I had envisioned it fitting, and luckily it did. So I knew that I was good to make the other one after this. But first, I wanted to finish all the parts of this one and then go spray finish on it so that I could have one of them drying with the finish while I chiseled the other one, because for some reason I thought that would be quicker, but it wasn't. It just was how I did it. But yeah, so then I routed and sanded each piece individually and made sure that they were all cleaned up and good to go. And then I took them into the other room where I spray finish, and I sprayed the finish, chiseled out the other ones, which I didn't film because it's just the same thing again. And then once that was all done, I went to assemble it, and this is where I realized that I had made a mistake by making the tops before the frame was done, because they lined up how I had imagined, but I didn't account for the little bit of bow in the pieces and that they would sit up like a little gap above the legs and below the top. So I had to remake new tops, and I put those on the next day and finished them. And I think that they ended up being even better anyways. But yeah, that was something I learned. Alright, so I'm frustrated, but it's just how it goes. I messed up bad by building these tops and routing this edge before they were done, because now they aren't lining up because there's a bow to them that goes like this. And if I would have flipped it, it wouldn't have been as big of a deal. It probably would have worked, but I can't live with these gaps. So I think I'm just gonna make new tops for both of them. So this is where I had already glued up the new tops. I put a strip down the middle, and I think it made it look a lot nicer. I did it because that's the only way I was able to make the pieces big enough, was with a few different pieces glued up together, because I didn't have any more big pieces of oak. But it ended up turning out way nicer. So I built the tops, screwed them in, and made sure that they looked good before I even finished them this time, and then finished them attached to the shelves. These shelves had already had finish sprayed on them, so then I just took them into the spray room and painted on the poly onto the top. But I unfortunately stopped filming here. I'm pretty sure my phone ran out of storage, and I was just so done with these. I wasn't worried about this video, which I wish that I would have been, but I wasn't. So this is the end of the video, and I'll show you another picture of these shelves. And yeah, thanks for watching.